Hi everyone. I'm just going to do a little bit with math today. So here's one of the problems that you're working on today. So I have it up here, so we're going to read it, discuss it, and then talk through some different ways to solve. So it says, Tony has 37 building blocks. Then he buys more blocks. Now he has 51 blocks. How many blocks does Tony buy? Okay, so when we first start, we like to think of the story as a beginning, middle, and end. So I'm thinking about what do we know that happened at the beginning of the story. Okay, Tony has 37 blocks. So we know our story starts with 37 blocks that Tony has. Okay, and then what happens? We know then he buys more blocks. So if you're buying more blocks, are you getting blocks? Are you losing blocks? Are you putting blocks into groups? He's getting more, so that means we will add. But do we know how many more blocks he buys? We don't. We just know he buys more blocks, but it doesn't tell us how many. So we do not know our middle of the story because he buys more, and we don't know how much that is. Okay? And then it says now he has 51 blocks. So we know he ends with 51 blocks. We have to figure out how many is he missing. So there's actually several different ways you can solve this problem. You can start with 37, okay, and you can add on till you end with 51. That's one way you can solve. That goes with our story. There's other ways to solve, so I encourage you to take a minute, think about how you want to solve, and then come back and resume the video, okay? Because I'm going to kind of go over the different ways you can solve the video. So take a minute and solve. Try solving first. Then we'll come back and we'll kind of, and then come back and play the video and watch it. And if you get stuck, come back and play the video. Okay, so I'm going to start with one way you can solve this problem. Remember, there's many different ways and there's no one right way to solve it. That's the big thing we want students to know. You don't have to solve it this way. You solve the way that makes the most sense in your head to get the right answer. So one of the ways we can start is we can start by drawing out 37, because that's what we know. We know we have 30. We know we have 37. Then we're going to count on until we end with 51. So I'm at 37. What I tell my students is we'll count by ones first till we get to a 10, and sometimes using a different color will help them see where their answer is. So I'm at 37, and a lot of times kids may want to do it in like a tens and ones chart. That's okay too, just whatever way helps them understand. Okay, we're at 37. Now I'm going to count on, and I'm going to count on 37, 38, 39, 40. Now I'm at a 10, so now I can add on by a 10. So 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Oh, Miss Sizemore forgot to make 37 before I started. Sorry about that. So 37, 38, 39, 40. Now I'm going to add a 10, makes 50. But I have to get to 51, so if I add one more 1, that makes 51. And then I know my answer is what I added on, which is 110 and 4 ones. So my answer is 14. Okay? Your child could also do it this way, but do it in numbers. They could say, okay, 37 plus 3 gets me to 40, because that's what we did here. We added the 3 ones first. Then I'm going to add 10 more. That gets me to 50, which is what we did. We added the 10 more. Then I'm going to add 1 more. That gets me to 51. And your answer is everything you added on. I added on 3, I added on 10, and I added on 1. That is 14. So those are some strategies your child can do with just showing it in numbers and by drawing it in tens and ones. Now, if your child understands that addition and subtraction work together, then when you're missing the middle of an addition problem, you can turn it around and make it into a subtraction problem, and sometimes that's easier for us to do than to count on. So I'm going to show you how to turn it around into a subtraction problem and try that way. But again, if your child wants to do one of these ways, you could have them stop the video and go back and do the one that they understand with me. But if you want to subtract, if you understand that you could do 51 minus 37 equals, and you can get your answer this way, your child can do it this way and subtract. And like I said, a lot of times that's just easier because we're not having to count on or stop. It's just easier. So for this one, there's, again, to solve this way with subtraction, they could do it a couple ways. They could draw in tens and ones, and they could draw out, there are 5 tens, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. There's 1 1, that makes 51, okay? And now I have to take away 37. So I know I have to take away 3 tens and 7 ones, but I only have 1 1 here. So in order to get 1, what do you need to do? In order to get more ones, where can I go to get more ones? That's right, you can go to the tens, because the tens is made up of ones. And how many ones is a 10 made up of? 10. So then I can move that over and I can draw 10 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I have enough to take away 7 ones. And I can take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now I need to take away 3 tens. Now this one was moved over to the ones house, so it does not count as being taken away. It was just moved over. So I have to take away 3 tens out of what I have left. So I'm going to take away 1, 2, 3. And my answer is what's left. I have 1 10, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 ones, which makes 14. Now, if your child wants to, so this is one way your child may try to solve. Your child may also, if they want to subtract, they may also subtract like this. They may do 51 minus 37, and they may separate the tens and the ones, and they may say 50 minus 30 equals 20. Okay. Then they may do 1 minus 6 equals, and when they get to here, they need to know 1 minus 6 equals negative 5. Alright? I'm sorry. I already made a mistake. 1 minus 7 equals negative 6. And then they have to take these two and do 20 plus negative 6, which means they take the 6 from the 20, and that equals 14. Now, depending on which way your child's been working in class, they should know which one they should do. So if your child has not been working with negative numbers, don't worry about them doing this way. If they've been using tens and ones and hundreds, tens and ones charts, have them solve that way first. And then you can kind of talk it over with them. But what I would encourage you to do is have them solve the problem. If they get stuck, watch the video, find the one way that your child wants to solve, and then they can do it step by step with me. Alright, so I'm going to upload one more video doing one other problem to help, and if you have any questions, just let me know.